When Russian missiles started raining down on western Ukraine early Saturday morning, Poland didn't just stand by and watch. They immediately scrambled their fighter jets in a dramatic show of defensive readiness that highlights just how dangerously close this war is getting to NATO's doorstep. The Polish armed forces, along with their NATO allies, rapidly deployed aircraft to patrol and secure Polish airspace as Russia unleashed a barrage of airstrikes targeting areas perilously close to the Polish-Ukrainian border. This wasn't just a routine precautionary measure. This was a nation preparing for the possibility that the conflict could spill over into their territory at any moment. But here's where it gets controversial. Are these defensive scrambles actually escalating tensions? Or are they the only thing preventing World War III? A backdrop to Saturday's dramatic response is a series of increasingly alarming incidents that have NATO's eastern member countries walking on a razor's edge. Just days earlier, Poland made history by becoming the first NATO member to actually shoot down suspected Russian drones that had violated their sovereign airspace. Then, as if to prove that these weren't isolated incidents, 3 Russian military aircraft brazenly violated Estonia's airspace for a full 12 minutes on Friday, a move that many military experts are calling either incredibly reckless or deliberately provocative. Polish and Allied aircraft are operating in our airspace, while ground-based air defense and radar reconnaissance systems have been brought to the highest state of readiness, announced Poland's operational command through their official social media channels, using language that barely concealed the gravity of the situation. The timeline of Saturday's events reads like a military thriller. At 3:40 GMT, air raid sirens began wailing across virtually all of Ukraine as their air force detected incoming Russian missiles and drones. Polish radar operators, watching these deadly projectiles streak toward their neighbors' territory, immediately activated their defensive protocols. Within minutes, Polish and Allied warplanes were airborne, creating a protective shield over their nation's airspace. The tense standoff continued for over an hour, until 5 GMT, when Polish command finally announced that the preventative operation was complete. The Russian bombardment had ceased, and the immediate threat had passed. But the question remains, for how long? And this is the part most people miss. While the world focuses on the headline-grabbing military responses, there's a quieter but equally important story unfolding on the ground. Polish authorities revealed on Saturday that they believe they finally located the last of approximately 24 drones that infiltrated their territory 10 days ago during the September 9-10 incident. This final drone was discovered in a field in Korsay, a municipality in northeastern Poland, representing the end of an extensive search operation that has kept the nation on edge. At this point, we believe it is the last of the drones being searched for that entered Polish territory on the night of September 9-10, stated Dariusz Brodowski, spokesman for the Olsztyn district prosecutor, in comments that highlight just how extensive the violation of Polish sovereignty actually was. Here's what makes this situation so precarious. Every time Poland scrambles its aircraft or shoots down Russian drones, they're walking a diplomatic tightrope. Too little response, and they risk appearing weak, while potentially emboldening further Russian aggression. Too strong a response, and they could trigger Article 5 of the NATO Charter, the collective defense clause that could drag all of Europe and North America into direct military confrontation with Russia. The broader implications are staggering. Eastern European NATO members like Poland and Estonia are essentially serving as the first line of defense against Russian expansion, bearing the psychological and financial burden of constant military readiness while the rest of the alliance watches from relative safety. But here's the controversial question that no one wants to ask out loud. Is Poland's increasingly aggressive defensive posture actually protecting NATO? Or is it inadvertently pushing us all closer to a broader conflict? Some military analysts argue that these rapid response measures demonstrate strength and resolve that Putin respects. Others worry that each escalation creates new opportunities for miscalculation that could spiral out of control. What do you think? Is Poland's hair-triggered defensive stance the responsible action of a nation protecting its sovereignty? Or are these dramatic military responses creating unnecessary escalation in an already explosive situation? Should NATO be doing more to support its eastern members? Or should these countries be exercising more restraint to avoid potentially catastrophic miscalculations?